All right, today is Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. Let's take a look at the price action this morning for the first 2 hours of the market. That is when I trade in both the NASDAQ and the Russell. Let's look at the NASDAQ first, and then we'll hop over to the Russell. So obviously, just a big selling day today in the market, primarily at least in the morning. Let's zoom in on the signals here. So right at market open, we broke below this 3-minute support level that had been printing. That's a tough signal to take because we had already been printing 1 and 2-minute sell signals, and so you're basically just jumping in after it breaks below or after it closes below and starts to show that 3-minute. Tough to get in anywhere around here, to be honest. I think for me, if I was trading the NASDAQ at this time, I would have been in here at 486 and potentially would have been stopped out. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe if I had a stop, yeah, it would have been close. So anyways, just tough to get in this range, but then it just kind of started to open up. I think ideally, following the signals correctly, this would more likely be the first entry right here. You get this nice downtrend. It is getting late into the market. It's about an hour into the market. Come up, test the 1-minute resistance level, come down, get a red bar to print, also get a red oscillator down here. So be short here at 362 or so. And then it just kind of continues to stair step down lower real nicely. 2 green bar exit there. Might have had you out. If not, I mean, you're just taking this all the way down. This is 362 and got to a low about, 162 or so. That's 200 points right there on a sweet spot. That's pretty nuts. If you get majority of that move, if it's me, I'm calling it a day right there. And that was the bulk of that trend right there. So I didn't trade the NASDAQ today, but it was, I guess, a good way to describe a red waterfall today. Really sold off. I think there were some employment numbers, I believe, that came out today. There's some news that came out at 7 o'clock my time, and just completely started selling off from there in the NASDAQ. But I was trading the Russell, and it was just so day. I wasn't overly happy with my trading. I took all the signals for the most part, but was just a little quick to take profit and didn't let things run as I should have. I went long right at market open here at 22, I think 80 and a half or so is what I was filled at. Took a win against me just a little bit, almost 2 points, and then it shot up. With this quick acceleration to the upside, with it being market open, I went in and locked in a 1-to-1. I was risking about 3 points, maybe 3.5 points, and so I locked in 3 or 3.5 points right in this range. And then, as you can see, it pulled back and I got stopped out. It's something I do sometimes, primarily when it's a very risky entry. This was a risky entry right at market open, large bars, quick acceleration to the upside. I had a profit or take profit up here at, it would have been at 90.5. So, it was in sight. But just this quick acceleration to the upside, long bars, market open, all that taken into consideration, I'd prefer to lock in like a 1-to-1 there. Let's see here. I guess some of these could have been a sweet spot. I just didn't like the way these looked in real time. We didn't have a smooth trend. We had a quick acceleration up and then pull back. I just didn't like the way that these were looking. So I sat on my hands through this. Sure, valid signal right here. Valid signal right here too. The oscillator doesn't come into play as much on the Russell. Ron from AbleTrend talks about it primarily being used with the NASDAQ. I just still keep it down here, but here's a valid signal right here. Didn't really get much out of it. Maybe could have locked in 2 points or so before getting stopped out. But like I said, I just didn't like this price action at the time. I didn't like the quick up and the quick down. And so I just had my hands through that. Just kind of a judgment call there. But moving along, the next signal I took was around 7 o'clock. That was when all that news came out. Got a long bar, didn't love the long bar, but decided just to pull the trigger anyways, given that it was a valid signal. We broke below the three-minute support level. 3 minute was showing, it hadn't printed yet. It printed on this bar. I got in here at 2274.7 or so, and it dropped, not quickly, but it kind of trickled down. And I think I did the same thing. Once it got down to this level, I decided to go ahead. I think on this one I did the same thing. Yeah, I locked in 3 points. That's what I was risking, and was quickly stopped out. This was the one I was not happy about because had I, just let it play out, sure, this would have been a long trade, but 74.7, we eventually got to a low down here of 62, and I had a 10-point take profit. So that would have been hit, but that was, that would have been sitting in that trade for 45 minutes. And sometimes, I can get a little antsy. I don't like having that much exposure in the market. You never know what can happen. I like to, get in, get out, within 20 minutes or less or so. So that would have been a tough one to hold through. But I would prefer to see myself hold that trade for that long. Sweet spots were here. That would have been about a break even. Probably would have still been in the trade, that initial trade. Another great sweet spot right here. That was at the reason this is not a sweet spot is because it didn't close below the resistance level. Kind of closed right at it. So you want to see the red bar close below that resistance level. So in around 2265, got to a low of 2251. So plenty of opportunity to take another 10 points there or more. But yeah, I also missed that trade. That was my other hiccup of the day. I did take a late trade though. Figured, with some of the selling, we'd get a little bit of a rebound. Once we got confirmation and break above this resistance level, I decided to go long, and I just kind of did a quick little scalp and kind of rode this up a little bit, followed my stop loss up, and then eventually got it kind of just taken out, and made a couple more points there. But yeah, it was a so-so day. I would have liked to see myself hold through some of this, and then also take that trade right there. So that's a little recap for the price action and my trading on Tuesday, January 4th, 2022.